What's up you guys and welcome back to the channel. So today, as you can see, we're playing more Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series X, and today we are flying from Liverpool across to the Isle of Man, and we will be flying the Cessna. Now, in terms of the jet itself, I've barely driven this thing or flown this thing, piloted this thing, depending on what you want to call it. But one thing's for sure, this landing on the Isle of Man is something which is very tricky, and I'm quite nervous about it, to be honest with you. I don't have a great deal of experience with this jet. I don't have a great deal of experience at landing here, but I did try it last night, and unfortunately I lost the footage. It didn't quite work out right, but I'll tell you what, if you'd seen that landing, you would be shocked and appalled. You might even unsubscribe. I'm only joking. This is what we're here for, guys. I'm here to entertain you, and hopefully you enjoy it, but we'll see how we get on today. Now, the conditions that we've got for this flight, weather-wise, are live. The time is live. It's about, let's have a look, see what time it is here right now. So it's about 1:25. And yeah, I mean, exactly, 13:25, it's brought up there. And as you can see, the conditions, I'm laughing. It's even worse than what it was last night when I simulated this flight. Now, we do have a special guest on board today. I can tell you his first name, but for client confidentiality reasons, I can't tell you the rest of his name. His name is Hassan. I believe that he's on the run from giving an update on his latest game. I can't confirm that for definite. I have no idea why he wants to fly to the Isle of Man, but we're ready to go. We're going to whip open the checklist and get this thing sorted. As I say, I can't say too much about his circumstance right now, but there's one thing for certain. We're on the way. So the parking brake is set. We know that. It should be set already. What we're going to do is the power levers should be in idle. Yes, they are. So we'll tick those off. I've never done a startup on this jet before. I don't know whether Hassan realizes what he's getting himself into, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So what we're going to do is fire up the generator switches. These should be on. I think they're already on. But anyway, tick that one. Battery switch. Now this one should be off. Okay, it's right in the middle of those two, so that should be easy enough to switch on. So there we go. Things should be coming online now. The Avionics master switch should be on dispatch. Yep, that's in the same vicinity, so this should be pretty easy to remember for next time I do this. That's on, and we'll tick that one as well. And now we're going to switch to the starting engine section. So right start engine, we want that on push. That's on. We might as well do the same with the left as well and get them both on at the same time. We'll now tick these like so. Right engine run / stop. Run when N2 20%. Where's that N2 monitor? I'll tell you what, let's just switch these to run anyway. Sounds like they're coming on board. Yeah, it seems like they're coming online. Okay, we'll take this. Monitor, in terms of the... I can barely see those. Well, yeah, it's coming up. That's a good sign. Hopefully that'll be okay. I don't really know a great deal about this, to be honest with you. Left engine start. So this should be in start now. Well, that's done nothing. Are the engines on? That's the question. Sure sounds like it, so I'm assuming... I think there could be a big error in my judgment here if those engines aren't on, but it certainly sounds like they are. After starting engine, Avionics master switch. Well, we've already got it on because it was in the first part. This should now be on. Yep, it is on. Tick list, yes. Lights. Lights. All these ones, yes. Nav, strobe, and taxi on. We should really get around to switching that one off, you know, that taxi one. Wing lights on. Okay, and parking brake will be released in just a moment. We'll take that. Okay, so let's get in touch. Where are we? We want to get clearance here. And request taxi to depart west. We are cleared, I believe. We will acknowledge this one. Let's see how we are positioned here. I don't think we've got pushback, although if that guy potentially stood there waiting to give us a little pushback, I don't see why we wouldn't utilise him. Request pushback. Yep, there he goes. Push back and stay to the left. Just to sort of get us lined up in the right direction before we set off here, guys. I hope Hassan's having a great time in the back. I think he was having a little cocktail. I don't know what else he's got back there. I think he's got a special guest riding with him, although I couldn't see who that was. I wouldn't like to say. And yeah, I mean, he's got a small dev team. I don't know whether they're working right now, whether they exist at all, to be honest with you. I guess we'll find out in due course. But yeah, we'll try and get this push back. Now, this is interesting, this in terms of the animation here. This guy pushes way past us for some reason first. And then he's going to come back to the front wheel. We are going to release the parking brake now. There we go. We're coming round. Okay, we want to be in a bit of a better position in terms of this one. So, hello. Right. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. And we'll request that this pushback stop. Now. Lift the camera up a bit. See where we are now. So yeah, we're about in the right position there. And we'll get a bit of power going. You want to move out the way, you mate? What is this dude doing? What are you doing? I don't know why he was moving back in to do a pushback there. I did request that it stops anyway. We'll close that so that there's no more confusion. And we'll clear this little error. Well, it's a warning anyway. And we'll get moving. Why are we getting a landing gear warning? Did I press the wrong button there? I might have done. Okay, we should probably be sticking to the taxi directions there, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing here, is there, apart from us? So yeah, I don't know how busy Liverpool is in real life. Not too sure. I don't think I've ever flown in or out of Liverpool, to be honest with you. Let's see if we can get a bit of a better view there. So I think that's a bit better, isn't it? So we make our way down to the runway here. Which way is it going to have us taking off here? Which way are we facing now? Let's have a look on the map. Why are we stopped? Okay, so we're now facing westerly, which isn't the way that we want to go at all. Well, sorry, west is the way that we want to go. We don't want to be taking off to the east. But I think that's what it's going to make us do. We're going to be going all the way down here. We're going to swing it round and then we're going to be taking off to the east. So, can we not just take off here? Anyway, yeah, that's a bit of a joke. There's no other planes here. Looks like we're the only one really utilising Liverpool. Now, I did see one of my friends on the multi-player map flying in this vicinity as well. But I do have multiplayer switched off for this particular video, so unfortunately we probably won't run into them when we get up in the sky. But how long is this runway anyway, man? I think it's long enough for us to get this jet up in the air, that's for sure. These conditions are absolutely dreadful though. I mean, what in the world are we thinking flying here on this particular day? For a new pilot like myself, New and noob. Yeah, I don't fancy it, but here we are. We're making the most of our time. So, a little bit of brakes and a turn here. We're going to request takeoff clearance, so we'll just slow down a little bit here. Try and get our takeoff clearance in. Brake there. Okay. Tune to tower. Request takeoff clearance. We've got our takeoff clearance, so we're ready to go, guys. We'll close that. We don't need that anymore. We are going off to the east, even though our request is to the west, so... yeah, I don't know why it's suggesting that we're pointing in that direction now when we're not. But here we go. Pretty quick turn. Wow, bit of a wild corner in there. But Hassan said make it fast. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing indeed. I do wonder whether it wanted us to go to the end of the runway then turn round. That's a potential as well, but anyway, I think we're going up now. Make a steady climb. I'm going to start turning as well because we want to be in the right direction. It's supposed to be about a 22-minute flight from here to the Isle of Man from Liverpool, so we want to make the most of that time, but at the same time, look at these conditions. I mean, like, what on earth? You barely see the ground down there. Pulling the gear. We don't want to stall, we're pulling the flaps. Like so. Now this plane is a bit of a nightmare to fly in my opinion, and when I tried it last night, especially in these conditions, it was pretty rough. The reason for that is because, well, in these conditions you can't really see how far you are off the ground. I mean, you do have obviously the altitude meter, which is useful, but in terms of the actual visibility of the runway when we come into land, it's absolutely dreadful. So we'll be making use of the points that I've plotted on the map. I'm just going to level us off. I don't want to be too high, because the problem is with being too high is that we'll end up coming in way too fast, and then we'll have a problem getting it down, because with the height obviously comes great speed when you reduce that height. So I think flying at about 6,000 feet like this is probably okay. I'm going to turn us a slight bit here. We're still gaining altitude, so I'm going to trim us off a bit. But yeah, I mean, we can't see anything. Sky looks kind of blue up here, which is good. But the clouds below us are really providing absolutely no visibility whatsoever. Speed's quite steady. We'll just ease back on the power a little bit again. Just try and maintain around maybe about 250 knots if we can. Try not to lose altitude as we do so. Flying pretty east of the line here. There's a reason for that, because when we come in, let's see if I can swing across here and show you. When we come in up here, we're going to come in from a sort of northeasterly direction, if I can show you. So it's going to be a bit of a turn, which I'm not too sure whether it's showing it there. Yeah, it's not really, it is, but it isn't. So there you go. So there's this turn that we have to make here before we come into land. it's it's getting complicated, guys, and yeah, it's not ideal, to be honest with you. So I wanted to give you a bit of a channel update as well as we go. So we're currently sitting around about 945 subs, and my goal was 1,000, and yeah, we're still working towards that. We're going pretty well. I'm really pleased with the subs, and if you sub to the channel, I just want to say a massive thanks for doing that. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would do that, and obviously if you enjoyed this video, please do leave me a like. It would mean the world to me, more than what you'll know. It just helps to promote the videos, really, and yeah, it's something which is really important to me personally in my goals in getting this channel to keep moving. As you can see, guys, we've gained quite a lot of altitude here. We're up above, just slightly above 10,000 feet there, so one thing that we're going to do is just come down a little bit with the trim it down a little bit, and with the power that we've got here, we're maintaining the airspeed that I said that we would hopefully look to, which is about 250 knots, and just reducing down slightly, although we are going back up a little bit now. So I'll just trim it down a little bit further. So there we go. As you can see, the nose is pointing ever so slightly down now. That's good. Gaining speed slightly as we do so. But yeah, guys, so I'm working my way through a number of Train Sim World videos at the moment with the Boston update, the rush hour content, and we'll be looking forward to when the next pack drops, whenever that is. He's back on the power a little bit more here because just trying to sort this altitude out, try and get us leveled off, if not dip down a bit. Trim it down a little bit further. Hopefully that'll help. Try and keep us pointing in the right direction as much as possible. But yeah, do watch out. Soon we will have some more Farm Sim 19 videos. I'll be working on a custom modded map for that one, potentially, and looking at a few other things as well in that regards. Another game which is coming to the channel soon is a game that I've owned since release, and I haven't got around to covering yet, but all will be revealed in due time. That's an interesting simulation game based on an area which I don't know a great deal about, so that'll be a learning experience. The game itself is also based on a TV series, although it's not a TV show that I've ever seen. So a simulation game based on a TV show. Please do let me know in the comments section if you can guess what it is. It's been out for a couple of months now. I bought it actually pretty close to release, and yeah, I just haven't got around to doing a great deal with it. I tried it out a little bit, had a great deal of fun, thought it would be good for the channel, and just haven't played it yet. But yeah, we'll see how we get on with that one. So we're making slow progress towards the Isle of Man. I don't know whether we should be picking up speed at this point, or whether we're flying about correct. Let's have a look from the cockpit. As you can see, can you imagine being a pilot in these conditions? I mean, it's just so difficult to tell what's going on here. So we've got speed brakes here. Let's switch to the mouse here for a moment, seeing as we're nicely levelled off. We've got flaps. We've got rudder trim, which I've never used. Pitch trim. Aileron trim. The starters there, which we used, and also the engine stop. Run stop. Panel brightness and such and so forth, and our strobe lights. Well, we can switch our taxi light off. Not too sure what else we need here in terms of beacon lights, etc. But it's probably a good idea to have whatever we can have on in this weather. Wing lights. Are they on? Right, it says they're on in there. Let's see if they're on here. Oh yeah, there they are. I'm not too sure where the beacon would be in this instance, but yeah. Okay, so I'm quite pleased with the way that we're sort of losing altitude. I did say that I wanted to fly around 5,000, 6,000 feet. So yeah, I mean, we're doing a good job of flying considering we can't really see too much. So we're about 33 miles away from our destination. I think we're about halfway there. I'm concerned about the last leg, to be honest with you. I really am quite concerned about this turn and coming into here, which is why I'm flying slightly wide of the line. I kind of want to stay wide so that when I come in, it's not too bad. Why is the nose pointing up? See what's going on. See the nose pointing up? Let's trim that down a bit more. Too sure why that is. We're gaining speed as well. Well, we were gaining speed, we're now losing speed. Is it to do with weather? Nose is coming back down. We're not that far away from our destination, I guess. 28 miles. Starting to feel nervous about this landing. I don't know if Hassan realises that I'm not really sort of trained. I still haven't done the tutorials yet. I don't know whether he knows that or not, to be honest with you. But he's probably soon going to find out. Just going to adjust the trim again here because in terms of altitude we are losing it at quite a rate, and we're not really what I would consider close to the airport as of yet. Maybe negative 16% trim seems about right. Yeah, we still want to lose some altitude, although yeah, once we start getting down to about 2,000 feet, I think I'll be concerned at that point because yeah, once you get down to about, even in this weather, if we get down and we drop down to about 500 feet, you'll be able to see the water then. That's when things get scary. Especially in this plane. I mean, it does respond pretty well in terms of when you get the thrust back on. But as you can see, we're dropping at quite a rate, and as a result of that, we are also gaining a great deal of airspeed, which isn't good. But when we actually do come into our approach, we're going to get the flaps on, which will slow us down as well, so that'll be good. We'll just see how we get on here for the time being. Nice to look out the window there and just see the clouds. I do wonder what our altitude is now. Okay, we're still coming down, so that's good. That's good. That's good. A nice steady descent is better than sort of just flying high and then coming down at the last moment. So I think we're making a nice steady decline here. These clouds look interesting there. Very strange. So this bottom layer of cloud here is where the weather seems to be seems to have been produced by the weather anyway. Okay, I'm just going to trim us a little bit more. Hopefully we'll lose some of this airspeed by trimming back a little bit, because we are way too fast, that's for sure. I feel really nervous about this landing, guys. I tried it last night. I came in from the other direction, from a kind of southwesterly direction, and completely got it wrong. I mean, I ended up in the water, let's just put it that way. The runway is not very long. You can't see anything until we get down below these clouds, and even when you do get down, the runway lights are like very difficult to see until you get right up on the runway. So fun and games, really fun and games all around. As you can see, I'm flying pretty wide of where we want to be, which I think, in my personal opinion, is a good idea. I'm pretty sure we would get told off by the air traffic control. I wonder whether we can get landing clearance, because that's probably a good idea. And I wonder whether we can get a pattern landing. So we're runway 26. Okay, we'll close that. And we'll swing round. Okay, we've got a pattern entry. So that's a good sign. And we are losing a lot of height now. Let's power up again. It's a good idea to come round. Flying at 700 feet is not ideal here. We're not too far off the ground, let's just put it that way. We're not far enough for me to be comfortable. We are going to kill the engine back a little bit more. I'm going to get into my first, I'm going to get 50% flaps. I'm going to trim us down. I want to lose this speed. And I want to do it before we get too lined up with what we're doing. I'm going to pull back a little bit on the yoke. Okay, there's our pattern entry. Okay, we're losing a lot of power now. Whoa, there's the sea. I will pull out the landing gear, that's for sure. Let's get the rest of the flaps into play. I'm very nervous about this, guys. Very, very nervous. We're too low, for one. We do have the right sort of speed now. We're still too fast, but I want to trim it more to be able to get us a little bit more level than this. But as you can see, we're over the water. It's not going to take much for this to go wrong. Give it a bit more power, just to allow us to gain a bit of height here. Our pattern entry is definitely going to help, because I didn't do landing clearance last night when I attempted this. So yeah, let's see how we get on here. See how things look from inside. It's not a great view from inside, is it? That's probably a bit better. Oh, there we go. We're the right speed now, so that's good. We're still going to have to swing this thing in, though. I'm glad we've got full flaps in play, because that's certainly killed off a lot of our speed. It's made me feel just slightly less anxious about this one. I do want to sort of get us into the right height, though, because, yeah, whenever I seem to do these pattern entries, I always come in at the wrong height. Just doing a bit of a turn here. Slight bit of rudder as well. Guys, I'm so nervous about this. I can't see anything. The runway's short. I'm just pleased that we've got the pattern entry in terms of the on-screen visuals there. I don't know what I would do without those, but it could be something fun to play around with in the future, to switch those off. Okay, we're too fast now. This runway is going to come up on us very fast. I just have a feeling about it. because we're going to cut down through these clouds and then we're going to be able to see the ground, and then it's going to be landing time. So yeah, let's see how we get on. 120 knots. We're about lined up, I think. Yeah, I think we're about lined up. I'm not brilliant at lining these up, I'll be honest with you. We're kind of low. Just glad that we're now below this weather. You can see as well the pattern entries reflecting off the water. That's very, very interesting. Wonder whose idea that was. Okay guys, I guess this is our final approach now, and if you have any prayers to say, or yeah, you want to take a last swig of the old whiskey, please do feel free. We're all over the place. The wind must be horrific here. Using a little bit of rudder just to sort of bring us back in line. But yeah, generally speaking, this is going to be a bumpy one, I can sense it. Come on, I'd love to get this sort of lined up nicely with the runway. It seems like we are, and then we're veering off course because of the wind. Cut the engine back a bit more. Not too much though. We're all over the place with the rudder and yoke here. We're coming down through another layer of cloud here, and then we're going to be straight down onto the runway basically, so yeah, excitement, nerves. I guess that's what this game is all about, really. So here we go guys, we're very close to our landing now. I try and get it under control when we get down as well, before we actually come in, before we actually touch down. Once we touch down, I'll then try and sort of make sure that we don't grass it, because it's very easy to do, that's for sure. I'm just applying a little bit of rudder there just to sort of straighten us up. I don't have any sort of flying aids on apart from the visual aids. Oh man, there's our lights. See if I can get us down nicely here, guys. Come on. The camera's a bit of a nightmare as well, to be honest with you. Right, okay, here we go. Come on, down you go, nicely, nicely. Nicely, nicely. Kill the engine. Come on, baby, down you go, nicely. Well, oh man, it was a bit rough, wasn't it? Are we on reverse thrusters there? We'll put the brakes on. Okay, there we go. Well, it was a rough one, but we're down, and it wasn't the worst landing that I've ever seen in my life. I'll certainly be watching it back. See if we can get clearance to a parking. There we go. Well, that wasn't the worst landing that I've ever done in my life. It wasn't the best. I'm just glad that I'm down, to be honest with you. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, I think. It was lovely to see the water splash up as we landed. That was great. So here we are, guys. Welcome to the Isle of Man. Hope you've enjoyed your flight today. I think Hassan is still in one piece. I wonder what he'll be doing next and when he'll give his next update. Hopefully he's not too depressed about the situation with his game at the moment, but I don't really know. He hasn't said anything to me anyway. that I should know anything outside of what you guys know. That's for sure. Get ourselves nicely along to the gate here, get ourselves parked up at ramp 20. Hopefully get ourselves powered down without too much more fuss. See guys, one thing that I'd like them to add to this game is a replay feature. I really do think that that's missing in terms of just being able to see how you did, to be able to see your landing from a different point of view. Can you imagine if we could go to the end of the runway now with a separate camera and do an instant replay of our landing? You know, to be able to watch the plane come in, sort of see what angle we were at, take sort of notes from our own landing and see how we got on. Just to see, you know, could we have angled it a bit better this way, or at what point could it have gone worse than what it did? At what point could we have corrected it so that it was a bit smoother? Because at one point it was looking very good, and then for some reason we touched down pretty hard. I'm not too sure whether we had enough of a flare when we landed, but we certainly seemed to lose control for just a moment. And yeah, I didn't think that was the point in time when I was a little bit disappointed with it, to be honest with you. But hopefully it came across okay on the video, because yeah, that's what it's all about, guys. So here we go. Not too sure what our parking situation is going to be like when we actually come in here. We've cornered a bit fast there, almost veered off the runway. But as you can see, the weather is absolutely horrendous. It's chucking it down, I believe. Although it doesn't look too bad in here, but the wind for sure was an issue. So here we are. We'll see if Hassan's got his car waiting for him. We'll see if we can get parked up and get this thing powered down. So there we go, guys. We're nicely in. We'll power down, and then we will take a look here. We can switch that warning off. What we'll do is, I think we can switch these starters off potentially. Like so. Right, they don't need to be off as such, but we can get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. We can exit that a little bit. And where's the battery switch? There it is. Once we switch that off, that'll be the end of our flight. So about 21 minutes, not too bad at all. I really hope you enjoyed that, guys. That was a blast for me. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, please do click on one of the videos that are about to come up on screen. If you're not already subscribed, I'd really love that subscription, as you will then get to check out future content. Thanks so much for coming through, guys, and I'll catch you again soon.